your Mac Life Show 1059 this Wednesday, the 12th of August 2015. And today we'll have Shawn talking to Jim Dalrymple of theloopinsight.com, as he always does. And we'll also be talking about vinyl records, if anybody knows what they are or remembers what they are. And we'll also, in the photography portion, be talking about the Perseid Meteor Show or Shower that we'll be able to view this evening if it's clear enough. So without further ado, here's the Alexander Keith's guzzling Shawn King.
Thank you very much. I don't know where I was going to go with that. Yeah, audio should be working. I'm sorry, I was in the pre-show. I was all messed up because for some reason Wirecast suddenly didn't want to do audio, and how can you tell it's Wednesday in my life? Thank you guys very much. Oh, don't forget September, whatever the Wednesday after the 13th, we will not be here.
16th.
16th, thank you. We will be in Mexico on the Mexican Riviera. At a place called town Playa del Carmen at the GSP, Grand Sunset Princess. There's a whole bunch of princess
GSP. Oh, that's a good way of remembering it.
Exactly.
Because I remember him.
I'm sure you do. Well, and I want to talk to folks. It's my nature to do research on things. I like doing research.
Sorry?
What was that all about?
Yeah, research. Yeah, you do research. Yeah, that's right.
Why do you make it sound like a bad thing?
You do a lot.
Well, yeah, what's wrong with that?
It's like women, I always say this, women that when they get pregnant read all the fucking pregnancy books that there are out there, and it's like, oh my God, you could have this. Oh, this could happen. Oh my God, I could get this and then this, and your water breaks, or it could be upside down. Or it's like, don't read anything. Just... it is what it is.
Yes, but if I hadn't done the research, I wouldn't have found out all the cool information we found out. For example, I found out how much it costs for the Wi-Fi, how much it costs for different services. It says all-inclusive, but it's not. I think people need to learn what the word inclusive means. There are also some concerns about things like timeshare pitches on hotel grounds, which apparently there weren't. Scorpions, which apparently there weren't. The funniest thing we found out, or I found out, that I passed on to Kim, was that the hotel, the resort, is relatively very, very large, area-wise. It's apparently...
Does that make sense? Sorry.
What makes sense?
Relatively very, very large. Can you say that?
The resort is relatively large.
There we go. Thank you.
And... so I read on TripAdvisor and Yelp and other places, people were complaining about how, oh my God, if you need to go to the beach and then back to your room and then to the restaurants, it's a lot of walking. I was like, oh, I don't know if this is the right resort for us because I've got a bad knee. I don't mind walking. I don't like walking. I don't mind walking, but having to do a lot of walking hurts. It's physically painful on my knee and my former broken foot. So I thought, oh God, if we have to do a lot of walking, I have to... And the thing is, if you do a lot of walking, it means you have to take everything out of your room rather than leaving some stuff, whatever. So I did more research. I found out what these people who I've got to assume are lazy call a lot of walking from the beach to the front door of the hotel, the lobby area, is a 15-minute walk.
That's nothing.
That's nothing!
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to walk 15 minutes backwards. You should be able to walk 15 minutes skipping on one foot. 15 minutes isn't any amount of time.
Or distance.
It's no distance at all. We actually went out last night to sort of time it, how far we would get from our house to down the street in 15 minutes. And it wasn't that far.
To the post office.
To the post office. It was a 15-minute walk. I think it was, what, a kilometer and a half?
If that.
If that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Kim will poo-poo my doing research, but at least I know now. We found out more information about the reservations and about which what else? I found, there's a big, apparently a fairly serious seaweed problem. And when you look at just TripAdvisor or just Yelp, it sounds like it's because the resort just isn't cleaning their beaches. Well, that's not good. But when you do more research, you find out there's a seaweed problem throughout the Caribbean right now. This time of year, either because of currents or global warming or whatever it might be, there's an extra large amount of seaweed on all the resort beaches, whether it be in Mexico or Bahamas or Tahiti, not Tahiti, South Pacific, any other place in the Caribbean.
Florida.
No, not Florida, because of because of the currents. The currents aren't hitting that way. So there's a lot of seaweed washing up the beaches, and people say, well, why don't they just clean the beaches? It's labor intensive and costly, but it's also turtle season right now. So they can't just scoop up all the sand, sift it, and then get rid of the seaweed because they don't want to disturb the turtle habitats. So, it's something we'll just have to get used to. But at least we know now. Because, if I hadn't known, we just walked up to the beach in Mexico and seen several hundred yards of seaweed on the beach and then 30 or 40 yards of seaweed in the water, you'd go, ew, that's kind of nasty.
No, I'd go, oh, look, it's seaweed. Oh, where are we? Oh, that's right, in the sea. Duh.
Yes, but you don't plan on going in the water anyway, so it's not a concern for you.
I do.
You do. You won't go in the water.
I've been in the water in England where we have friggin' seaweed and dog shit and pebbles and God knows what.
But you're afraid of getting bitten.
Maybe.
By things unknown.
Yeah.
That you can't even name or describe. You just think something's going to happen to you. Right?
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, do your research and do a lot of research. Don't just stop at the first couple of things. The other thing, too, is I learned make sure you keep an eye on the timeline of your research. If you're using TripAdvisor, if you're using Yelp, if you're using Facebook, because some of the stuff people will complain about is from 3 or 4 years ago. And at least for this particular resort, they've changed ownership a couple times in the last little while. And so things are different. The biggest downside is that I can't find out any information, I'm going to have to ask on Facebook, about excursions and things that the resort has set up for people. When I went on my Mediterranean cruise, the cruise ship had a list of things that you pay extra for to go to do Pompeii or the pyramids or those kinds of things. And I can't find her anywhere, even on the hotel's website. I can't find any information about excursions. Sounds like there are some, and the problem is, and this is why it's a bad thing for the hotel, is because if for the most part these resorts are all a lot alike, and if one website has excursions I'm interested in listed on their website, and the other website has no excursions, well, you're going to pick the one that does. So when the website isn't detailed enough, maybe they're losing customers because of it. I don't think we're going to go on any excursions. I don't know what they're
somebody mentioned
be.
Something, Cozumel or something.
Cozumel's too far away.
Oh, it's like a boat trip or something. You go on a catamaran or something. I don't know.
No, yeah, there's an island off the coast that you could go on, but what are you going to do on the island? You can sit there and suntan there. So I'm not worried about that. But if there was a ruin close by, the other thing is going into town for shopping. Apparently they've got a nice shopping area there too. Well, how much does that cost? Yeah. How much is a taxi ride there? Can I hire a car? Really, hitchhiking in Mexico?
I've done it in Greece. I know, it was dangerous.
She might not come back from this trip. But the little details like that forewarned is forearmed. It's not going to change our mind, but at least I'm going to know. A great tip that someone told us on one of the websites was in these all-inclusive places, you've got a mini-bar fridge in your room. Yay. That's stocked every day. Yay. And they'll put water, and they'll put soda, and they'll put beer in there that you can then take. Well, if you leave the maid a few pesos tip, a $5 tip, and a little note that says, don't need soda, just water and beer, that's what she'll fill your mini fridge up with, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't had a soda in 10 years. When's the last time you had a soda, like a Pepsi or a Coke?
A couple of months ago.
Months? Really? You still drink it?
No, I don't. I just had it instead of, because normally when I order a combo from like a burger joint, I usually have a coffee with it.
Yeah.
With my combo. But sometimes, if it's hot, I'll go, oh, okay, I'll have a Coke or a root beer, if it's A&W. But it's like all I do is belch.
See,
afterwards.
I don't find that stuff. I don't find that stuff anymore when I'm hot. Cools me off. That's one of the reasons why I stopped drinking it. Was I just lost my taste buds for that sweetness of a Coke. I'm always a Coke fan, not a Pepsi fan. And just went straight to straight water. If I want flavored water, I use that little Mio stuff that puts a strawberry or cranberry flavor in your beverage. So yeah, we don't want sodas. So if they'll put extra beer in there or extra water in there, that's a good thing. So little things like that help you learn more about the places you're going. And especially, and no offense to my American friends, especially for you Americans when you travel, Americans are notorious for not knowing anything about the place they're going, whether it be cultural or historic or anything. And then expecting, and I don't understand this, then expecting when they get there for it to be just like home. That's the thing that always kills me.
I told you that. This is not just Americans.
Yeah.
British people do that.
Yeah.
British people do that when they go to Spain or they go to Europe. Like most of them go to Spain for their holiday. And a lot of British people expect to go to Spain and get fish and chips. And they do. Because Spain caters to them.
Yeah.
Because they go on holiday there for their factory fortnight holiday.
Factory fortnight? What's that?
Yeah, it falls kind of the end of July, beginning of August. It's a 2-week holiday that most factories are closed down.
Oh, really?
So they call it Factory Fortnight. It's the busiest holiday season for the Brits. And those that go abroad go to Spain. And they drink beer in English-style pubs on the...
Okay. So basically they've transplanted England to Spain.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't do that.
I know. I don't get that either.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I want Spain. If I go to Spain, I want Spanish. If I go to Mexico, I want Mexican.
Exactly. So do research when you travel. Find out the do's and don'ts, and what you can do, what you can't do, and learn a few words of their language. You don't have to learn a lot, just the basics.
Cerveza.
What?
Cerveza.
Cerveza.
Sí.
Por favor.
Por favor.
Por favor.
Señor.
So sí, no, yes,
Sí.
no. What's your welcome? You don't know because you don't say it.
Gracias. Thank you.
Gosh,
You don't need to say fucking welcome. If you've said thank you, that's enough.
I don't know if anyone's noticed, but that's the 4th swear word she's done in the first 15 minutes of the show. She's getting comfortable here, isn't she, kids? Later on the show, we're going to talk about, in our starting point photography segment, shooting the Perseid Meteor Shower. It's on tonight and a little bit tomorrow and into the weekend, if you can. It's cloudy here. We'll talk about how to shoot at night and how to shoot the meteor shower, what to expect for that. It peaks at around 1 a.m. Pacific time this evening. So get your camera and go on and get outside, or just get a lawn chair and go sit outside. It'll be gorgeous. We're also going to talk to our good friend Jim Dalrymple from The Loop at loopinsight.com about vinyl records, about Google and Alphabet, and bunch more stuff. So all that and much, much more. Please stay tuned. This is your Mac Life.
Your Mac Life.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you guys very much for joining me here this evening. I am Shawn King, joined in our phone room by our good friend Jim Dalrymple of The Loop at loopinsight.com. Jim, how you doing?
Doing good, Shawn. How are you?
I am good. Kim wanted to know what the hell was that whole Corvette picture thingy that you posted up on Twitter the other day?
Oh, you like that?
That's a nice car, man. That's a nice car.
63. It's a friend of mine.
I was going to say 64. It was close. Did you actually drive it?
No.
No, come on. Why not? That's not much of a friend.
No. Because, well, no, you know, he may have let me, but I would have wrecked it. So.
Well, then that's fair. Because in California, they drive on the other side of the road than in Nova Scotia, right?
It was got a big engine in it.
Oh,
it's a fast car.
Yeah.
I would have destroyed it.
Yeah, those are beautiful cars. What are you driving now in California? Do you get yourself a convertible now that you're in California?
No.
Oh, come on. Why not? The beard blowing in the wind? Come on, man.
No. No, just an old Toyota.
I posted a story over on The Loop at loopinsight.com about vinyl record. Today is, apparently I didn't know this, International Vinyl Record Day in honor of the fact that Thomas Edison invented the phonograph today in 1877. The question I asked on The Loop was, do you remember your very first vinyl record you ever purchased with your own money, Jim?
Do you have vinyl records?
What's that?
Do you have vinyl records?
Do I? I don't have them anymore, no. But I remember the very first one I bought.
The very first one I bought was April Wine's Nature of the Beast.
Nice. I remember that album. That was a good album.
Yep.
My very first one.
That was a really good album.
My very first one was Rush Bastille Day.
Oh.
Love that album. I played that album to death. I know your son's into vinyl. Are you into vinyl? Do you still buy vinyl records?
No. You know, it's one of those things. I guess that since I went through it when it happened, when it was there,
yeah.
You know, it's when I found something better like cassettes and CDs, I moved on to those. Although I don't think cassettes were necessarily better, they were more convenient,
more portable. Yeah.
But, you know, at some point, if I could get a really, really nice stereo system and a nice record player, I'd probably get some vinyl again. But, you know, I don't know.
And the question is, why would you get vinyl again? Most of us probably have forgotten why we liked vinyl to begin with, if we ever actually liked it. But why would you get vinyl? You said because it sounds better.
It does sound very good.
Really?
It really does, yeah. But I think that you need a high quality system in order to make vinyl sound good.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do.
Because I think most of us only remember vinyl from the point of view of we remember the pops and the scratches and the hisses and the noise that vinyl made. But for folks like you who are into music, that's part of why you like vinyl, right?
No, sure. I mean, you know, there's more to it than that. I mean, if you listen to an album, an actual vinyl album, you know, there's a lot of dynamics in an album that you won't hear these days, and I'd rather enjoy that. You know, especially with acoustic guitar type music, you know, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, you tend to hear a lot more, and you know, it's the same if you get a good quality set of headphones, you're going to hear a lot more. People are surprised with that, but you will.
Yeah.
You'll hear more out of those headphones in music that you've listened to for a long, long time than what you would out of a regular set of headphones. So quality does matter.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you from the point of view of even headphones, a good set of headphones with MP3s, which are compressed all to hell and gone. You'll still, with a good set of headphones or a good set of speakers, hear parts of that sound that you didn't hear with your regular Apple speakers or just off your computer speakers. That's certainly true. So, yeah, I got to assume vinyl could be the same thing.
Yeah, I would love to have that, but you know, I mean, I've been through the old vinyl days. I don't need to go through it again.
Yeah, and part of it too is that as you get older, you realize you can't go back to that old Fisher-Price record player your little sister had. You've got to get like a $5,000 Marantz system with a $4,000 Yamaha receiver and a $10,000 record player. You can't go back to the old stuff you got from Best Buy or Future Shop. You have to get good stuff now, and it's probably not worth it, or you can't afford it.
I just stop by Marco's place and steal some of his.
Speaking of Marco, I'm assuming you're talking about Marco Amen, right?
Yeah.
He is a fussy little fella, isn't he? He's a little bit of a pedantic guy, but he wrote a story this past week which I thought was very, very interesting, talking about advertising and the web, with Apple coming out with iOS 9, allowing developers to add in ad blocking software. This is going to become a really big issue, and as I posted on the Loop, Fortune had a story that said ad blocking software is estimated to cost websites nearly $22 billion in ad revenue this year. That's a concern for folks like you and for folks like me who are content creators who, some of us, try to make a living using advertising, using ads on websites. But isn't a lot of this problem brought on by the website publishers themselves, Jim?
Well, it is. You know, as revenue goes down, website publishers try different things and they add new things, and you know, after a while, the page that you're visiting is full of ads that, you know, it's difficult to read.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ads. You know, some of the less scrupulous ones have links, ads in the text of the stories, and you know, some of the stories themselves are advertisements. You know, that so things like that are bad. Yeah. You know, but it's kind of one of these things where it just keeps snowballing, because the more publishers try and get people to read their ads, the more people try and block them, and the more different things that publishers try. You know, it's just non-stop. It just keeps going around in circles.
Yeah, there certainly is a war going on between the folks who are trying to make money, rightfully so, off their content, and the people who are developing software that blocks a lot of these kinds of ads. But I think one of the arguments is, and I completely agree with Marco on this, is that it's the publisher's fault for allowing all this crappy code. Now, Marco's a code guy, so I'll take his word when he talks about this kind of stuff. But the code is what slows down a lot of these websites, not necessarily the ad itself, which we can easily ignore or eyes gloss over. He contrasts and compares a newspaper ad with a website ad. And I can read an article and never see the ads in a newspaper. I do it all the time. They never register on my brain. And the same thing happens on a website. But the difference with a newspaper ad is the newspaper isn't tracking me, isn't using up my computer's resources to send God knows what data back and forth to newspaper publishers. But that's exactly what's happening whenever you go to some of these sites. And the best thing to do is, folks, download the app Ghostery, because it's a Safari plugin. And even if you don't block stuff, you'll be blown away by the huge number of various kinds of trackers that pop up on some of these websites. And that's what Marco was saying in his piece, that web ads are dramatically different from prior media. They run arbitrary code in your computer, which can collect and send data about you and your behavior back to the advertisers without you even knowing about it. And that's the worst part, in my mind, when it comes to web ads. Now, you don't do that on the Loop, do you, Jim?
No.
The kind of ads, the kind of stuff that you've got in the Loop, I've got Ghostery turned on for the Loop, and all you see on the Loop are trackers for the Deck, which is the ad service that Loop runs, right? What is the Deck?
The Deck is an ad network. They have that one small ad on the side of the site.
Yep.
And you've got that's it.
And then you've got Google Analytics, which is fair because you want to track how people go on your site. But you've only, I'm just going to count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trackers on the Loop. How many of those do you know about, Jim? How many of those are ones that you installed on the Loop?
Which ones are they?
I'm just going to refresh Discus, which is for commenting, Google Analytics, which everyone has running, Chartbeats, Go Squared, and Quantcast.
I believe those are probably for the forums.
Yeah, okay, yep. But it's certainly not egregious. So the ones that are on the Loop are not nearly as bad as some. I think the most I've seen on one website, I forgot the name, I posted on Twitter a few weeks ago, had 56 different trackers on the website. That's insane.
Well, I think what's insane about it is that they all have to load.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what's kind of insane about stuff like that, is that you know, no matter what, those are going to load.
And a lot of them, like I said, you don't know what they're doing in the background. I've seen it happen a lot of times. I'm going to hopefully be doing some work for a Canadian photography company called Henry's here in Canada. So I'll go to Henry's website and do the lookup, whatever I need to look up. But then I'll go to a different website. Got nothing to do with photography. Got nothing to do with anything along those lines. I'm suddenly getting Henry's ads following me around the web. And that's because the Henry's website installed a tracker, installed a cookie, did something that now tracks me on websites that have got nothing to do with Henry's because of their ad network and those kind of things. And that's where people get really freaked out and frustrated about this stuff, letting alone the idea of these ads that pop up in the middle of the content and you can't find the little frickin' X to close the page. As a content creator, I have little sympathy for folks who do those kinds of things. I'm going to block your website, or I'm not going to visit your website. Hopefully we're going to dial this stuff back to get to the model of the Loop and Daring Fireball and other websites like that with minimal advertising. And hopefully you folks recognize that. And I don't know how it works in the Loop, and correct me if I'm wrong. If the ad interests you, click on the ad. If the company is something that you would like, buy their product. Tell them you heard about them on the Loop, because that will encourage those companies to buy more ads like that on websites like that. Don't buy stuff from folks who track you in 56 different ways.
Right, and you know, when you look at the things that are on the Loop, a couple of those would disappear right away if I get rid of the forums, but people didn't want to get rid of the forums.
Yep.
They wanted them there, so you know, those ones, that's part of the software. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, so I don't know. I think people get freaked out over the realization that companies can track them.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're anonymous.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, very little of it is anonymous. Posted up on the Loop. Apple Pay competitor Current C may not launch until next year. This comes on the heels of Best Buy a few months ago pulling out and Rite Aid pulling out. Why are you giggling, Jim?
Well, I mean, this Current C thing is just so pathetic.
Yeah.
You know, and to see that they're not going to launch until next year. I mean, this was the big thing. Everybody had to have. Apple is so easy, so incredibly easy to use, and it's available more and more places. And when you see that companies like Rite Aid are now going to accept Apple Pay,
yep.
that's not because they don't want to accept currency or they don't want to accept anything else. It's because customers are coming in saying, "You don't take Apple Pay?"
Yeah.
What? You know, well, I'll go to, you know, Walgreens because they do.
Exactly.
You know, that's what's driving this, and I don't understand what some of these companies don't get about this. It's what the people actually want.
Yep.
It's what they see, what they want. There are a lot of iOS devices out there, and this is something that, you know, Apple does have some pull. So
I think part of it too is an issue of their own making. They announced this late last year without having anything in place to make it actually go forward, and now they're embarrassing themselves by not having the systems up and running by now when they said they would have them. If they had just shut up about it and let the vendors do whatever systems they want, rather than trying to lock in the Best Buys and the Rite Aids and those kind of the Walmarts, those kind of companies, until they had a real live working system, maybe it would be different. I don't think it would, though, because while Current C sounds like similar to Apple Pay, when you actually look at it, it's nothing like it at all. It's a giant hairball. These guys want access to your checking account. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's how you sign up for Current C. You don't use a credit card. You give them your checking account information. Now, I'm sorry. These folks can't keep track of my credit card information. I ain't giving you direct access to my checking account.
I know, right?
That's
crazy.
Insane. And they want your driver's license. And they want all this kind of personal information. And
so that they can give you a coupon.
Exactly. That's the thing. They're not doing anything that's going to outrageously benefit me. The only reason Currency, those folks may not know, the only reason Currency was even thought about, even developed, was because the merchants are pissed off at the credit card companies. Because the credit card companies, according to merchants, are charging them too much. So these guys got together and said, oh, we'll do this Currency thing, and that way we'll get rid of the credit card companies. Well, the customers aren't going to stop using their credit cards. The whole system made no sense from the get-go. And now I think it's dead in the water. I do not believe. They said they're going to be trying some trials in Ohio over the next few months. But I think by this time next year, Currency will not be installed widespread in America. I think it's just completely dead issue. It's not going to happen. Do you agree with that, Jim?
Well, I think, let me ask you this. Did you hear about Currency before Apple Pay?
I'm not the guy to ask because, you know me, I'm such a voracious reader. I had heard about it, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
Well, okay. Yes, well, that's true. I hadn't really heard about Currency until after Apple Pay came out. And I'm not saying that Apple Pay, you know, shone a light on it, but it actually did because everybody started looking for, well, who's Apple competing against here? Yeah. And then you hear about Currency, and you know they took that ball of you know, the light that was shone on them and said, oh, here's what we're going to do, and people looked at it and said, no, yeah, I don't think.
That's right.
You know, so I think once Currency, I mean, if there is nothing else in the marketplace, it's kind of like the cable companies. If there's nothing else, they can do and say whatever they want.
Yep.
So Currency said, okay, well, we'll tie everything together in this nice little hairball package of, you know, coupons and your card savings and all this kind of stuff. We'll just tie it all together, and people will love that because nobody else is doing that. Well, that's because we don't want you to do that.
Yes.
You know, I just want a quick and easy way to be able to pay for something with the device that I have with me now. And that's what I'm able to do. I'm good. You know.
Yeah, it's hilarious how the vendors didn't seem to get that consumers want an easy way to pay for stuff. Whether it was cash back in the day, whether it's debit cards, credit cards, whatever it might be, if you can make money slide out of my bank account the easiest way, you'll get my money. That's the thing that they've got to understand. And Currency was not an easy process. I forgot, Mo mentioned that Susan said that Currency sounds awful. And MacMan says, and you even have to scan a QR code to make it work. So even when you walked up, even if you did jump through all their hoops, you went up to the terminal, it wasn't a simple matter of swiping your iPhone or your Apple Watch. You then had to scan a QR code. The whole thing is just a complete non-starter. I don't care. Someone said if Walmart and Target jump ship, it's dead. I think we're going to see before this Christmas, Walmart and or Target will in fact jump ship, because it's going to be the biggest shopping season of the year for these folks, and they're not going to want to turn away customers who want to spend money and want to find easy ways to give them money.
Well, you have to take what the consumer wants.
Yep.
You have to make that, this is what they want, this is what we're going to give them.
Yep.
And I think that these companies that are involved in that are learning that, unlike the cable companies, that, they can't just say,
yep,
well, no, we're going to give you this and you'll accept that.
Exactly.
You know
That's
what?
right.
No, I won't. And I think it's amazing that a lot of small mom and pop companies in towns all over are accepting Apple Pay.
Yeah.
But then you have some of these big companies that said that, oh, well, we can't accept Apple Pay yet. We're not set up for that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How can that be? Of course you're set up. Terminal right here.
Yeah, exactly. One of the big concerns.
We're not as stupid as what they think.
One of the big concerns for the mom and pops was that they wouldn't switch over because those terminals would be too expensive. The big companies can buy these things in bulk and install them in bulk, and to be less of an issue. But like you said, I've heard that from other people too. It seems like the smaller mom and pops are jumping on board this kind of stuff much faster than the big conglomerates, which is good for the small mom and pops. Again, make it easy for money to slide out of my wallet, and you're more likely to get it from me.
Yeah.
Got another story. This is an interesting story. For those folks who listen to me for any length of time, I generally hate Kickstarter. I've been involved in about 10 different Kickstarters, and only one of them was on time. 6 of them never got off the ground, and I was able to get my money back from 2 of them. So I don't have a good record with Kickstarters. So I generally...
Well, you need better friends or something. I don't know.
I need better taste in Kickstarters. I agree with you on that one. But this one caught my eye. Tim Cook, Eric Schmidt, and Y Combinator invest in Nebbia, the Kickstarter project to reimagine your shower. Now, Jim, you live in California now, and there are water restrictions throughout the state of California. Did you look at this shower? Did you look at this Kickstarter program?
I did.
What did you think of it?
It looks interesting.
I like that style of shower. I like that sort of rainfall type shower head. I like the idea that it's a misting kind of shower. What fascinated me was they got permission from Tim Cook to announce that Cook was an investor in the project. And before that announcement came out, I had seen something about this, and I saw on their page that they were at about 120,000. After their press went out about Tim Cook and Eric Schmidt and Y Combinator being involved in it, it was 100,000, and now today it's 1.1 million. They originally wanted $100,000. They've increased that by a factor of 10.
Yep.
I think the other reason why I'm mentioning this is I think this is a Kickstarter that will, in fact, make it on time, if only because if you've got investors and advisors like Tim Cook, who is a supply-side genius, I think Tim Cook can really help these guys get this thing out on their, I think the projected date is sometime in, May, estimated delivery, May 2016. The problem is, this is one hell of an expensive shower head, man.
Well, and it's not just that it's a reinforced type shower, that thing. It's what it does to the water when it's coming out. Instead of just dropping droplets, it actually splits the droplets apart, and it's some kind of technology that allows them to do that. I don't know. It's like nuclear fission to me. So.
That's right. And I understand about as much of it too. Yeah, I get the idea that what it's doing is it's atomizing the waters rather than big fat droplets. it's coming out in little skinny droplets. But because it's little skinny droplets, it means they can use less pressure and less water for the same kind of physical coverage of it. So I think it's a really neat idea. The big thing for me was the fact that, according to the video, a regular shower, we take 8-minute showers on average and use 20 gallons of water. For the same 8 minutes, the Nebula shower will only use 6 gallons of water. That's a big deal. That's a huge savings.
So that means you can go wash your car more.
That's right. Exactly. And the other thing I like about it, and whether this actually comes to fruition, I don't know, is that they want to move beyond this kind of shower technology for the average middle class home and put this into hotels in third world countries to save water. I think that's an admirable goal of theirs, even if it's just PR speak. I think it's an interesting idea, but again, $300 for a shower head, man, that's a lot of money to get wet.
Yeah, it's true, but there are a lot of people that believe in these types of projects, in saving water, and they'll sell it well.
I think so. Yeah, I definitely think they're going to.
No doubt.
Will you back this project?
Well, being Canadian, I mean, I just hose myself off, and I mean, I could be walking down the road, somebody running their sprinkler. I'll just go lay down and roll around on the grass, and I'm good for another month.
That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. I think I read somewhere that Canada has 70% of the world's fresh water supply, so we don't give a rat's ass about water conservation. We don't care. We have all the water we need.
Yeah, I mean, at some point we're just gonna sell that. It's gonna be like gas for us.
That's right. But I certainly think that it's going to be a project. They got 29 days to go. They've got 3,200 backers, $1.1 million. Hopefully, this is a project that will make it out of the Kickstarter ecosystem. Like I said, I'm generally not a big fan of Kickstarter, but I think this one, with the people who are backing it, has a better chance than ever to become an actual live viable product. But as Sherry says, this thing's going to retail for $400. Fuck right off.
Yeah.
And Sherry's in Canada too, so us Canadians are like, no, we get all the water we need. We don't need this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I disagree.
We get something like that, and a polar bear's just going to rip it off anyway. So what's the point?
Exactly. But check it out, folks. If you get a chance, Kickstarter.com. The project is the Nebula Shower, Nebia. I've been talking to Jim Dalrymple over the loop. But sorry, go ahead, Jim.
It is very cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's very cool. I think the ideas behind it are really interesting too. So I'm looking forward to seeing if this thing actually makes it out by May 2016. Folks, I've been talking to Jim Dalrymple from the Loop at loopinsight.com. He's here each and every week. You can also check out his podcast. He's got two of them, one called the Dalrymple Project, and the other is Amplified, both available on the iTunes Music Store. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Shawn.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
That's me hanging up on Jim. Pulling that out. Whoa, geez, plunk. Turn your microphone. You turned your microphone on before I told you to, didn't I? Yeah, you did. And that's what that frickin' noise was. Don't do stuff until I tell you to do it. Hey, you had a question in the IRC chat room. What was your IRC chat room question, young lady?
I asked what was a white list.
Do you know what a black list is?
Well, duh. Yeah.
A white list is what is a blacklist? Smartass.
Well, something you don't want. You block people from accessing you.
A white list is the exact opposite.
But why would you need a list?
Because there's two ways of doing things. Say you want to block spam. So you can have a blacklist. So block every single address, every single piece of email that has this address in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or you can do the opposite, a whitelist, except every single piece of email that has these addresses, and block everything else. So you can have your email set up so that only email from me comes through and everything else gets blocked. That's a white list. You have a list of good people, and everyone else gets tossed in the garbage.
Okay, rather than pick out just your bad guys, you pick out the only ones you want, and everybody else.
And one of the ways that's used most frequently is with parents of young children. you can whitelist apps in your internet browser history kind of thing. So the kids can only go to websites that are in the whitelist.
Oh, I see.
So no matter what they type in, if they type in apple.com, boom, it comes to apple.com. If they type in playboy.com, which isn't in your whitelist, nothing happens. They don't go there. The page doesn't show up. So that's why you have a whitelist.
Okay, that's probably easier to manage.
They're harder than actually no, they're harder to maintain.
Oh.
Unless it's a manual list that you add yourself. My kids can only go to Disney.com. They can only go to Pixar.com. They can go to Apple.com, that kind of stuff. And you can buy those lists with various kinds of software that will give you those lists, or you can download them from the interwebs on your own. But
I think that's easier to maintain.
It could be.
It is, because especially for kids.
For kids,
it's so hard to know what's a bad website.
Yeah.
Because you can go Barbie.com and it ain't good.
It might not be.
Exactly.
Monty says, whitelist assumes all sites are undesirable unless I put them on this specific list.
Yeah.
And Brian says, this is really true for the home automation or Internet of Things stuff. That's true, too. For example, home automation, you don't want your Nest smoke detector, because it can connect to the Internet, connecting to anything other than Google's website. So if you could, you would whitelist your smoke detector so that it can't communicate to anyone else except Google's servers. So no one could hack your smoke detector, in other words.
Why would somebody want to fucking hack my smoke detector?
Because they could have it turn on when they wanted to, or not come on during the fire.
Aren't they battery operated?
Yes, but some of the newer ones, like the Nest, is actually connected to the Internet.
Oh dear.
It's called the Internet of Things, it's, as Brian pointed out. Many more things are going to be Internet connected that you didn't expect to be Internet connected.
Oh, okay.
In theory, your toaster could be Internet connected.
Great.
And what that would be that you'd put, let's not say toaster, oven. Let's have an Internet connected oven. That sounds stupid, right? But what if you could put the roast in the oven before you go to work, and then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with your iPhone app from work, turn it on. And you can see the temperature on your iPhone app because your oven is connected to the Internet.
Wow.
It's becoming more and more prevalent, these kinds of devices. The problem is connectivity. Yes, Sherry says, why not just use a crock pot? That's right.
Yes,
exactly.
Thank you, Sherry.
Well, what happens if you don't want to leave the crock pot on the stove all day long? The kids come home at 4. You don't want them messing with the crock pot or knocking over by accident as they play.
Otherwise, they shouldn't be coming home alone.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just throwing things out there. Other kinds of things are sprinkler systems that know the weather and will water the plants only on dry days. We've all seen automatic sprinklers that are going off in the rain because they're set to go off every 3 days no matter what. Well, wouldn't it be more water efficient to have a sprinkler that was connected to the Internet through a wired network that would go and check the weather? And if it's going to rain in the next 3 days or 2 days, whatever you set up, don't put the sprinkler on. In places that have water restrictions, there could be an incentive for the homeowner to buy a city-controlled sprinkler. So now I don't got to worry about water control issues. The city will water my lawn for me. They'll turn it on through an automated process. And when we have water restrictions, they'll restrict the water. And that way I don't have to worry about my neighbors watering too much or not enough or whatever it might be. There's all kinds of different ways of doing this kind of stuff. There's a fridge like that. Yeah, there are smart fridges. Monty says, I want my fridge to be smart enough to know what's in it and order and have delivered stuff I'm all out of. I saw that 10 years ago at CES in Las Vegas. One of the large fridge manufacturers, was it Sub-Zero? One of the big boys that had the fridges, the expensive fridges for rich folks. I think it was Sub-Zero. They showed off a fridge that could do that. It had spots on the fridge where you put things. So if you had a quart of milk, you'd put it in that slot.
Yeah.
And because the fridge knew that was the quart of milk slot, and it knew how much a quart of milk weighed, your fridge would know when you were down to a quarter of milk. And your fridge would know, based on your consumption of that, whether to order you more milk right now, today, or order you more milk tomorrow. Eggs, it would know that there was a dozen eggs in this spot. And when you get down to 3 eggs, it would order you more eggs. It's kind of a neat idea. They had another fridge that had a barcode reader. As you open the fridge, they had the same sort of barcode reader thingy that you see in supermarkets. And as you put stuff in the fridge, it read the barcode. So it knew that you would put in a dozen eggs. But even better, it knew how many times you took it out.
Yeah.
And then would go to Amazon.com, whatever. This was 10 years ago, so there was all kinds of shopping companies and stuff tied into.
Whole Foods.
Idiots at Whole Foods. The other thing was a smart garbage can. And the way the smart garbage can worked was really kind of cool, because what it did was, as you threw things away, it read the barcode and would order that thing you just threw away.
Oh, okay.
So if you threw away a container of yogurt, it was, oh, you need more yogurt, I'll order more yogurt. And the yogurt would show up the next morning kind of thing. There's all kinds of different ways. The mosquito, I want my damn fridge not freeze shit that isn't in the freezer. Well, that's because you got a shitty fridge. The other thing is a little hint. I've learned this through the cooking I've been doing. Don't put that stuff in the back of your fridge, because the back of your fridge is colder than the front of your fridge.
Is it?
You know why?
Because you open the door more.
I didn't realize. I hadn't thought about that. Because you open the door more, that stuff in the front, the air gets rushed out right away. So the stuff in the front of the fridge, we had this happen. I put strawberries in the back of the fridge, and they almost froze. They were very. It was like, oh, what did happen? And that's because they were all the way in the back, and stuff got much colder.
Bullcrap.
What?
Did I say that out loud? Yeah, I think that's bullcrap.
What's bullcrap?
The fucking...
The back of the fridge is colder?
Yeah, it's like a foot. It's like 10 inches difference. Really?
You don't think that's true?
No.
All right.
No.
MacMan says cold air also comes in from the back. It's physics, YML Kim.
Yeah, smarty pants, Brian.
You want to argue with him?
No.
Because you're wrong. You are so wrong. So tonight, actually all this week, there's been this thing going on called the Perseid Meteor Shower. The planet Earth, as we speak, is rushing headlong to the tail of I believe it's the Swift-Tuttle comet.
OCC. Tuttles.
What's OCC?
Orange County Choppers.
We have to explain that, because not every... The audience is a bunch of nerds, not motorcycle geeks.
Oh, okay.
So, no, it's not them. So, the comet's tail, you've all seen pictures of it, that's all just debris flying off the comet. And it's full of ice and rocks and stuff. It's dirty snowballs, they call it. So the Earth is going through that right now. And as the bits and pieces hit the Earth's atmosphere, some bounce off, but some come through the atmosphere, and because of friction, burn up in the atmosphere. And that burning up process is what we see as shooting stars. Almost every night, in most places, if it's dark enough, you can go outside and see one shooting star every half an hour, maybe every hour. But because of Swift-Tuttle and this meteor shower, you can see one a minute, if not more, depending on where you are. So I really encourage you to go outside tonight. It's at its peak, supposedly, around 1 a.m. Pacific time. So if you can, get outside. Now, one of the things you got to do is get someplace that's dark. You got to be in a place that doesn't have a whole lot of city light around you. And what you can use is this website called Dark Sky Finder. And it's really cool, but it's also really kind of scary when you think about it. I posted up on the video, if you're watching it, our area, the lower mainland of Vancouver, and look at the light pollution in our area. You can go to the website. It's jshine.net, or do a search for Dark Sky Finder, and you can type in your own address and find out the places where you can go. And pretty much everywhere from Vancouver down to Seattle, along that corridor, it's a waste of time to try to see much of anything. What you need to do is you need to find some of these places that are close enough for you to get to and far enough away from city lights. One of these is here. You recognize that, Kim? What's that? Manning Park.
Yeah.
So get as far out of your city as you can. Some of us just can't get out to the absolute wilderness, so don't worry too much about it. But get out as far as you are able.
Up the canyon. Up the canyon. That would be good.
Up the canyon, yeah. Yeah, Monty says there's way too much city light pollution in the metro Atlanta area. There is way too much light pollution in every city. It doesn't matter. Even our little community here in Vancouver called Chilliwack. You can go away now. Go away. Go away. Has got a lot of light pollution and hope and that kind of stuff. Once you get a little bit out of town, it gets a little bit better. So what you want to do is go find some place that's relatively dark. The darker it is, Monty says, look at Atlanta on the site you just posted. I need to look at Atlanta, dude. I'm looking at Vancouver and Seattle. Atlanta's not going to be any worse than those places. All right, just for you, Monty. I'll scroll down to Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
The problem is our website is so slow that, oh, jeez. Come on back. Okay, Atlanta. Doing this just for you, Monty. Taking over the show.
Ooh.
Just for you. Yeah. Don't even look at Atlanta. Look at all.
Mm.
And I
Charlotte, Atlanta,
Augusta, doesn't matter.
Charleston,
Chattanooga, doesn't matter. That is basically the entire eastern seaboard United States. But there are places you can still go to get a little bit. Just basically is the more outside of town you can get, the greater the chance of seeing a lot more meteors. Because remember, this is a darkness factor. You'll definitely see them if you get out in the suburbs of your town. You'll just see more the darker it is. So the next thing you want to do, once you get out there, once you use Dark Sky Finder, just drive to a park somewhere where there's lots of open spaces. You can also use this really cool app called the Photographer's Ephemeris, which sounds kind of rude, but it's not. You type in your address, and it shows you when and where and what direction things like sunrise, moonrise, sunset, and moonset are. And this is kind of neat because what you can do is you can zoom all the way in, and this is our little community here in Rosedale, Vancouver. I can zoom all the way in, and if I'm standing on that road, I know that right now sunset is going to happen in that direction. And moonset is going to happen in that direction.
What road is that?
What?
What
Microphone.
What road is that?
Yale Road.
Is that us?
Yeah, that's not. No, that's center of Rosedale.
Oh.
And it also shows you what direction sunset is, sunrise is, and that kind of stuff. It's really kind of cool. Because what happens is now you can use this app to make plans to go to some place when the sun is setting or when the moon is rising. And you can use the app to scroll through time, which is really kind of cool. What you do is say, hey, there's a really gorgeous view here in the mountains. I wonder if the moon is going to rise over that mountain. And you can use this kind of app to see if there's going to be a moon rising over that area. I use on my iPhone, I use an app like this called Photo Pills, which you can use on the iPhone. The Photographer's Ephemeris, this is a free desktop app that you can use. There is also I think it's a $5 iPad or iOS app that you can buy. If you like taking night photography, this is a really good app. I mean, for $5, it's great. Photo Pills or Photographer's Ephemeris, either one are really good apps because they let you see not only at this moment in time, but into the future. There's been all kinds of times. A perfect example is I did a search on the Photo Pill. What?
It's okay. Nothing.
I did a search on the Photo Pills app to see where the moon was going to rise when we're in Mexico. I wanted to find out if there was ever going to be like a full moon rising up over the resort. There isn't, unfortunately. We're not going to have a full moon for that week. But at least now I know. So check that out for the photographer's Ephemeris. And then the next thing you want to do is set your camera up. And this is, I've always told people that one of the things I love about photography is the dual aspect of it. For me, half of photography is creative. The other half is technical. And the two, for me, go hand in hand quite often. I've told people often that I will look at a scene and imagine in my mind's eye what I want that scene to look like when it's photographed. So now my job is to capture that in the camera in a way that duplicates my mind's eye. And oftentimes that means, okay, the light is here, the person is here, I need to set the camera up technically this way, I need my ISO, my shutter speed, my aperture, all kinds of stuff. To me, that's kind of fun to do. And night shooting is a really good example of that. You really got to play around with your camera. You really got to learn how to use your camera. Now, a point and shoot on a tripod has probably got a star mode. Try that out. Most DSLRs, beginner DSLRs, the Canon Rebel and the Nikon D3300, that kind of stuff, will have a scene mode kind of thing. So play around with those. You cannot get any of these shots that are worth a damn handheld. It's just not going to be possible. You are not going to be able to take good pictures of dark, slow-moving objects. Sorry, back up again. You're not going to take good pictures of moving objects in the dark. It's just too hard. So what you're going to have to do with handheld, with any camera. You're not going to be able to do it with an SLR. You're not going to do it with an expensive camera. What you need to do is get a tripod of some kind, and you can get a simple tripod like this. This is, if you want to put this, you want to put your iPhone on this. This is a perfectly good little camera tripod. This mount that's on it is common to all cameras. I think it's a 3/8 inch mount, but if you have a point and shoot, it'll fit on here. If you have an SLR, it'll fit on here. Most cameras will fit on these kinds of things, and these have extending legs. So that's dirt cheap. That thing was $10 at my local camera store. It's cheap. I can't even put my DSLR on it because it's just too flimsy. But a point and shoot or a small DSLR will work on this just fine. So you need some sort of way of stabilizing the camera. You can even put it on the ground and put your socks underneath the front of the lens to lift it up. It makes framing the shot up kind of hard, but you can do it. I definitely encourage you to get some kind of tripod, though. Once you get your tripod, don't go out at 12:59 a.m. this morning and expect to start shooting meteorites that go across the sky. You're going to have to go a couple hours early to practice, to set up, to find a good location, to find the good spot for your tripod legs, to make sure your camera's set up. Don't forget to bring a little flashlight because it's going to be dark. Bring an extra battery if you have one for your camera. Fully charged extra battery. I've got 2 batteries back here that have been charging all day long. Make sure your card, your SD card, your compact flash card on your camera is empty. Once you get your camera set up, if your camera has this thing called live view mode, and what live view is, instead of looking through the viewfinder to frame things up, you're looking through the screen, very much like a point and shoot camera. You see people holding it out or using your iPhone. My SLR has no battery in it because I took them out because I said I was charging. Can you hand me that battery?
Yeah. The black one?
The black one. I said I was charging it up, and I in fact was. Hang on, let me just pop this out, pop that in. All right, there we go. Now it'll work. So my camera has this live view mode in the back, so you can see what the camera sees through the lens. And that's what I use to frame up the shot. Focus is going to be hard. It's going to be very, very difficult. You have to set your camera to manual focus. Autofocus generally won't work because there's not enough contrast in the sky, the dark night sky, to be able for your focus to lock on. So you have to do manual focus. And you can do manual focus either through the live view or through the viewfinder. And now comes just a heck of a lot of practice. A lot of playing around with ISO, with shutter speeds, with not aperture. Set your aperture up to the lowest number your camera can do. f2.8, f3.5, whatever it is. Because if you remember our previous discussions, the aperture number represents how wide open the shutter on your lens is going to be. The smaller that number, weirdly enough, the wider open it's going to be. f22 sounds like a big number. It's not. It's a little teeny bitty little slot. Whereas f2 sounds like a big number, small number, sorry. But conversely, the aperture, the lens opening is at its widest point. So set your aperture to the lowest your lens can go. Manually focus on a point in the sky. Now, the key for the point in the sky is you got to know where it's coming from. Where are the most meteors going to be coming from? And this is why it's called the Perseids Meteor Shower, not the Comet Swift-Tuttle Meteor Shower. It's because most of the meteors you're going to see are coming from the direction of the Perseid constellation. So, how do you find the constellation? Well, one of the things I do, and I utterly love this, is I use this great app called Starwalk. And I've talked about this app before in the show. You guys know them. I'm a big fan of this app. And what it does is it shows you on your iPad the night sky. And as I move my iPad around, it's showing me a live view of what the sky is right now. So, for example, right there is the sun. And if we look out the window, that's where the sun is.
Yeah, setting in the east.
It's just setting in the east.
Well, where are you looking? Oh, you're looking that way.
Look,
Okay.
look on the screen. Look, what did the big
West.
W say?
Yes, west.
Setting in the east.
I was like, whoa.
Does the sun set differently
You've
in
dropped to the
England?
other side of the globe. Yeah.
So there is, and you can't see Venus because it's right there in the moon. You can't see any of that stuff because the sun is. Look at that. I didn't realize it. Look at this. Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and what's that in the upper left next to Jupiter?
Mercury.
Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
All those planets are right there. You can't see them because the sun blocks them out. But I didn't realize they were lined up like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. So what you do is in the app, you search for what you're looking for. So I searched for Perseid. P-E-R-S. You can see it's already up there.
Ah.
Perseid Meteor Shower. And now this is where it gets fun. See the arrow? On the hang on, it's bigger on the video. On the upper right, see the big arrow? Yeah, there. So all I do is just move this around until the arrow shows me there is Perseid. Let me get this thing straight. So does that say Perseid up there? North, directly north?
I don't know.
In green?
I don't know.
No, right in the middle of the screen.
Oh, I can't read it. There's a fucking dude with a fucking sword.
What does it say right there?
Yeah.
In
Perseus.
blue. Okay.
Perseus.
So
It says Perseus.
you're
You know
really
Perseus that led the starry host? He's the first star that comes out at night. Or is that Hesperus?
Stop talking.
No, that's Hesperus.
Stop talking. So now we know right now Perseid will be in the north. So if we went outside and looked north, that's where Perseid is going to be. So I love using Starwalk for that kind of thing. You can walk outside with this map. And the other cool thing about see if I can set it up. Skylight. Shoot. The other thing that's neat about Starwalk is it will do an augmented reality version of it. So it won't just be. I gotta find it. Where can I find it? It's not it. That's not it. Solar system. Crap. Settings. shoot. Someone help me out with it. Where's the augmented reality version of this? What it is it'll overlay this star map on your actual view outside.
Oh.
So you turn your camera, it turns your camera on, and then instead of seeing this in the background, you see the actual world outside. And I've forgotten where the damn button is that does that.
I should look on this app and find out where my Cancer star is.
Yeah, exactly. You can zoom in on things, and you can tap on things, and it gives you
Zavaja. What the fuck is Zavaja?
And it gives you more information about that thing that you just tapped on.
That's a star?
That's a star. HIP 58797.
Find Cancer.
All right, I'll do a search for the constellation of Cancer. There it is.
Where am I?
Hang on. Wait for the little arrow to.
So it's in the west.
No. It's Cancer's not there. I'm waiting for the arrow.
Oh.
Come on, search for Cancer. Cancer. It's not giving me the. There we go. Okay, so now Oh.
There it is.
Yeah. So Cancer right now is directly west of us. See the way I'm pointing the. No. Look.
West.
Look at me.
Yeah,
It's that way.
West. So it's towards Vancouver.
But you can't see the constellation because it's
okay.
right in the sun.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Interesting.
So that's what you want to do. You want to go somewhere with an app like this that shows you where the Perseid constellation is going to be at that time. It's directly north of us right now, but it's 6 o'clock now. In 7 hours, it's going to have moved. So you set up in that spot a couple hours ahead of time and just take some test photos. And the way you do the test photos is, again, you do the manual exposure, the manual focusing. Then you do your f-stop at the smallest number you can do. And the next thing is you want to set your exposure. So now you got to be able to control the shutter speed of your camera. Start off at 5 seconds and see what the picture looks like. Then go up to 10 seconds. Then go up to 15 and 20 and 20. So just keep ramping up the exposure to see what kind of images you're going to get, sort of test images. And then all you're really going to do, Monty says, they moved that around a few updates ago. It always takes me a bit of fiddling with Starwalk now to find the augmented reality feature. Yeah, I thought it was a whole lot easier to find than that, Monty. If somebody can find it for me, that'd be... There we go. Oh, I've got camera restrictions on. That's why. General restrictions, camera on. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it. Now, one of the things you have to worry about is you'd think that, oh, I'll just set my exposure for 30 seconds. The problem is you are moving. The planet is moving. The stars are moving. So if your exposure is too long, you'll get star trails. And the weird thing is, if star trails are too short, it just looks like blur. Star trails only look really good when they're really long. I'm just going to show you a picture of what a good star trail looks like. You've all seen star trail pictures. So this kind of image with the stars looking like streaks of light, really kind of cool. But if you don't capture those, they just end up looking blurry. So that's why you want to practice and find out which settings will work for which exposure that you have. What you're looking for is this kind of image. Just open this up in a new tab, and this is your goal, is to have a nice streaking image of one or hopefully more meteors. The reason why I said before you need to practice, or you want to practice, is because you want to go out and see which direction the meteors are coming in. See a few on your own. Then set your camera up on a tripod. And if your camera has a mirror up mode, that's a good thing, because one of the problems that you'll have is the act of pushing the shutter makes the camera move. But also the act of the mirror on an SLR moving makes the camera move. Even if you use a remote setting, so you've got the setting of a timer, and you set your timer for 5 seconds. You click the button, you click the shutter, and walk away, still the shutter, the mirror is going to, it's called mirror slap, can make your camera move a little bit. This camera has a mirror up mode, so it will lift the mirror up out of the way. I can actually show you guys how that works. So you'll see there's the live view on the back, and I'll push the shutter button, but watch what happens. It'll go black just before it takes the picture. That's because that's the mirror getting up out of the way. And there's the picture it took. So that's the mirror getting up out of the way, waiting a second for the camera to stop moving around, and then taking the picture. That's what you want to do, is you want to minimize camera movement. Use an electronic remote if you have one. I've used Maxstone remote. I've used the Nikon specific remote. There's all kinds of remotes you can get, or a cable release mode. The key is get your camera pointed in the right spot with a wide angle lens. Make your lens as wide as you can. You don't bother with a telephoto lens. Something 11 to 50 millimeters is perfect. Wide angle lens, and just take a bunch of practice shots and take them over and over and over again. Take your practice shot early, like 2 hours early, and see if it looks good. Take a few more if they look good. Then once the meteors start to really hopefully kind of fly for you, don't look at your camera again. Just hit your remote, and when the time's up, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, hit it again, hit it again, hit it again. Some cameras, mine included, have what's called an excuse me, what's called an intervalometer. I can set my camera up so it will take a picture every X period of time for X number of pictures. So I can say for every second, take a picture that lasts for 20 seconds until you get 500 pictures. So that's the kind of thing that, and so that means I push the button once, I walk away from the camera. And that way, I can enjoy the meteor shower with my eyes stuck in a camera. If you get any good shots of the Perseid Meteor Shower, let me know, because it's freaking cloudy out here. We're not going to get a chance to see it. Every time we've had the chance in the past, at least the past year,
couple of months,
to see anything in the skies above us, nothing's happened. We haven't seen any of it. It's so disappointing. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. It's so disappointing. We missed the solar eclipse. We missed what else did we miss? Solar eclipse. We missed
the Halley's Comet.
Not Halley's Comet, but we missed a comet going by. We missed a whole bunch. Yeah, basically, we missed everything. It's just so annoying. We just keep missing everything. So we're gonna miss this one tonight too. So if you get good shots, let me know. Send me an email to onair@yourmaclifeshow.com. As always, we love getting emails from you guys. We got Kim. Okay, everyone. Oh, I can't do this.
What?
I was gonna say watch the video, because you're gonna make all those kind of cute noises, but folks can't see you on video, so they're not gonna be able to see this. Our friend Dave. Haley's puppies.
Oh.
Mako and Stella watching puppies being born. That is hilarious. Dave, I don't know how you got your dogs to do that, but that is just cute as hell. These are brand new baby puppies. Their eyes aren't even open yet.
That is, what a pretty mom.
Very pretty. Yeah, a bunch of pretty little doggies. So congratulations to the whole.
Are they pit bull or Staffordshire Terrier?
I don't know. He didn't tell me.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
Send
Oh!
more send more pictures as they get older, Dave.
Oh!
That's
Who's this?
It's Dave Roddy Paws.
Oh,
My friend Roddy Paws. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate
beautiful. Love them. Love dogs. Love them.
that. Yes, you
Love
do.
them.
Yes, you
Love them.
yeah.
More than people. Just in case you didn't know, I love dogs. Love them.
Are you finished?
No,
All right,
love them.
All right. I'll wait. I have patience. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Love dogs.
Jesus. Bob Studer. I don't really like vinyl per se because of the pops and scratches, even though I take very good care of the LPs. I really like the packaging. The posters, album art, inner sleeve designs, etc. are what attracts me to the format. I know there are cheaply packaged LPs and some CDs that have relatively intriguing packaging, but there's just something about a 12-inch square sleeve with gatefolds, included posters, and liner notes that can't be beat. I don't disagree with them. I'm the same way. I don't do it anymore. I used to days, but I would only buy a DVD that had stuff. I don't mean paper stuff, but it had a good outtake track. It had a good commentary track or two commentary tracks or alternative endings and versions and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I know what you mean when you say that kind of stuff, Bob. And like I said, I definitely agree with you. It does make a big difference. The problem is unless you know ahead of time which albums have those kinds of cool things, or if you know that a particular artist always does cool things, yeah, you're right. You can get ripped off. Not ripped off, but disappointed when an album doesn't have the kind of extras that you were looking for. I agree with you on that one. Emails to onair@yourmaclifeshow.com. Scott Randall, our friend for the Long Island Macintosh user group, says, first, when you and Jim talked about how you did not like broccoli and Brussels sprouts, my first thought was, okay, first of all, I didn't say I didn't like broccoli. I love broccoli. Frickin' hate Brussels sprouts. You like Brussels sprouts?
I love Brussels sprouts. Yeah.
And you like broccoli.
Yeah.
I don't like Brussels sprouts. And Scott, I'm going to pick on you for a little while. I hate this patronizing tone of your next sentence.
Why?
My first thought was that neither of you have had them prepared in any way but the traditional boiling or steaming. Pick one of these recipes that appeals to you and try it. I'm sure eating these prepared this way will change your mind. Dude, I'm old enough now to know what I like and what I don't like. If I was a 10-year-old, you could tell me, you know what, maybe you need to try Brussels sprouts a different way. I'm not. I'm a grown-ass man. If it was something I had never tried before, then you could tell me, try them this way. And I'd go, all right, maybe I will. But I've had plenty of Brussels sprouts. I don't like the taste of Brussels sprouts. Nothing's going to change my mind. No new recipe, especially a recipe that says, he says, the link below is a Google search on how to prepare burnt Brussels sprouts. Why would I want burnt Brussels sprouts? That makes no sense. And while you're right, I've only ever had them boiled or steamed, I don't like them. Preparing them any other way is not going to make me like them. What vegetable don't you like?
None.
There's not a single turnip.
No.
Parsnip.
Love it. Yeah. There's nothing.
Okay, salmon.
Yeah, I like it.
You're not a fan of salmon. Don't lie.
I'm not crazy. I don't have to have it. I'll eat it though. There's nothing I don't like.
You're not helping me at all. Okay, with regards to the damaged robot, the Hitchbot, I'm always dismayed at the fact that some people will do damage just for damage's sake. People key other people's cars, graffiti walls for no reason other than the perverted satisfaction they get out of it. The same thing can be said for those who create and transmit malware and emails that contain links that, when clicked, cause trouble for the user. They have nothing to gain, and this is not productive.
But they do have something to gain.
Some do, some don't. They just enjoy doing damage. I'm glad to hear you have much less of this or none at all in Canada. Well, we have spam in Canada. And he wraps up with, my dream vacation for 1 week, if I had unlimited funds at my disposal, would be a trip to Alaska. That's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go. Would you ever want to go there? Have you ever been?
I'd like to go see the bears.
Which bears?
Grizzly bears.
Are American grizzly bears different from Canadian grizzly bears?
No, but they seem to have a lot more of them in Alaska.
He says, of course, those unlimited funds would include a really good camera to take pictures of all the natural beauty and the wildlife. While there, I'd also like to go salmon fishing. I heard it's really great there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you on that one.
Did you ever see that movie? The Grizzly Man? Or
No, hell no.
Whatever. Oh, so fucking cool. It's
Why?
Cool. It's cool.
Why?
He was a freaking idiot.
Yes, he
but
was.
He got so close to the bears. And he had them like little bear cubs following him up the stream. And it was just like, he thought they were friends with him. And for the most part, they kind of did accept
Until
him.
he found the one that didn't.
Yeah, but that's a male.
And it ate him.
Which is a male in any
Don't.
animal. Male, yeah, unpredictable, and he's going to flip out.
Sherry says, I'm telling you, roast them. No! I'm not going to roast Brussels sprouts. There are so many other vegetables that I like. Why would I put myself through?
But if you like cabbage.
I don't like cabbage.
Oh.
I like cabbage rolls.
There you go.
That's not cabbage. That's
if you put roasted Brussels sprouts with some ground beef and flavors.
You roast the Brussels sprouts, I'll eat them. How's that?
There you go.
She can't cook. She doesn't cook, so I'm safe. She's never going to do it.
No.
Brian Monroe says, Kim, you need to go and get some Brussels sprouts ASAP. Good Lord. Logan, even the 9-year-olds agree with you. Agree with who? Sly says Alaska is the only cruise I'd like to go on.
Yeah.
Monty also wants to go to Alaska. Monty wants to do a 2-week Alaska cruise. Well, Monty, if you ever do, you usually start off here in Vancouver, so let us know if you're going to be in town. And Sherry says, yes, burnt, so good. How can burnt?
Oh, sometimes burnt shit is so good.
Yeah, but you like
I love
stuff
well
charred.
Done. I love it. Yeah.
See, I'm not a fan of charred.
I love burnt shit.
I'm the exact opposite. You like your steak well done. I like it still mooing.
Yep. Oof.
Turn oven to 400 drizzle oil, leave in the oven to caramelize. Nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. Sorry, not going to do it. David Bridle. My family and I just got back from an all-inclusive holiday to Turkey. Everything was included. Food, drink, swim towels, gym, Turkish bath, Wi-Fi, only in the lobby. The hotel gave us a list of free and charged services within the hotel. If I were to go on, do you ever any interest in Turkey?
Sure.
I think the only place in Turkey I'd like to go, I've been to a port in Turkey, but not
Ankara?
No, it wasn't Ankara. I've always wanted to go to Istanbul. What?
Istanbul?
What did you say?
Nothing.
What did you say?
Nothing.
You spit in my microphone. Why did you spit in my microphone?
Yeah.
Istanbul, Constantinople, because the history again, I'm a big history buff, and Istanbul is a big historical city, very important city in world history, very interesting city culturally too, because it's Christian and Muslim at the same time, and split by the what's the strait? That splits Istanbul in two, from the Bosphorus to the Mediterranean. There's the water is a strait there. Anyway, it's very, very pretty from what I've seen. So I think it's the only real place in Turkey I'd ever.
Bosphorus?
That's the name of the ocean or the sea on the other side. It might be the Bosphorus Strait. If I were to go on holiday for 7 days, it would be Barcelona or India. I've been to Barcelona before. The city, culture, and history is mesmerizing. India is a place that just fascinates me, but 7 days wouldn't be long enough. Quick note, adult vacation holiday in the UK generally means nudist holiday. Really? Is that what an adult vacation means in the UK? Naked?
No.
All right. David, take it up with Kim.
Topless is okay, but not naked.
No. He's saying when you refer to something as an adult vacation,
that
means you're going on a nudist holiday.
Oh, probably. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it would.
As always, thank you both for a great show. Love hearing from you both. Barcelona, it's not high on my list.
Barcelona.
What's wrong with you?
Barcelona.
You're not Spanish. Don't say it like that.
But if you're going to speak Spanish, you should say
You're
it
not
like the
gonna
Spanish speak it. Why would you speak English any other way than the English speak it? So if you're going to speak Spanish, why wouldn't you speak Spanish like the Spanish speak it, not like the Mexicans speak Spanish? So it's Barcelona.
So you're going to walk around all week going, Mexico?
Mexico.
Mexico?
Sí.
It's going to be so annoying.
Yeah, I'll be like, gracias. They'll be like, fucker, you got a cold
right.
or something?
Stop spitting on me, lady.
Mm-hmm.
No interest in India.
Why not?
If somebody
so cool.
if somebody could parachute me or helicopter me into the Taj Mahal, so I could take pictures and then pick me up and take me out, that'd be okay. No, I've got zero interest. I've got zero interest
the
in
street
most
culture
of oh
and
God,
the
no.
noise and the smell.
You don't like crowds.
I know I don't, but it's so cool. Like India would be so.
Does somebody want to explain to the person who doesn't like crowds what she's going to expect to see in India?
No, I get that.
The second most populous country in the world?
Yeah, I know. But it'd just be so cool. Cows walking the street, scooters.
We have that here.
We don't have cows walking the street.
We do too.
Well, sometimes. Yeah.
We have chickens running wild. We have horses a stone's throw away.
No, I love India, and I love Indian food. I
like Indian
freaking
food.
love Indian food.
But yeah, I've got zero interest in it's really low on my list. But all of Southeast Asia for me doesn't hold a lot of interest.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Vietnam. No.
Oh yeah.
Thailand.
Oh yeah.
No.
Love it.
It's a bunch of little brown people.
It's hot. Excuse me. You're one big brown person.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video of that because the look in your face is just perfect.
No.
I did that just for the look in your face.
Yeah.
But no, see, because I'm such a European history buff. That to me, and history in general, that's where I like going. Europe and the history of Europe. I don't have. I go back to Japan. I love Japan. I love Tokyo, if only for the weird factor of it. But yeah, elsewhere, Korea, all those places, Indonesia, none of them have any. I don't have any draw towards them, like I do for.
I love all of it.
European.
If it's hot and it's different and the food's different, love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Cool. Folks, that's it for tonight's show. I want to say thanks very much to all you. What?
Okay, bye.
Did we forget something?
No.
Did you want to say something?
No.
Do you want to ask something?
No.
Do you want to do something?
No.
All right. Thanks to for you folks for emailing. And you know, guys, I love getting emails from you guys. So please send emails to onair@yourmaclifeshow.com or send them to me during the week, Shawn @yourmaclifeshow.com, and I'll do my best to answer them in a timely fashion. Say thanks very much to Jim Dalrymple of The Loop at loopinsight.com for joining us here each and every week. And as we always say, check out his podcast. He's got the Dalrymple Report and Amplified, both available on the iTunes store. Until next week, she's been
Kim Guy.
Took you for a second. And I've been Shawn King, and you've been listening to Your Mac Life. See ya!